Breshit, in the beginning. Creation begins with a vision and a visionary to turn that dream into reality. Inspired by his mentor, our temple's namesake, Rabbi Stephen S. Wise, Rabbi Isaiah Zeldin imagined a synagogue reflective of American Judaism and modern Zionism, a place where students of all ages would learn to share a love for Israel and a passion for the prophetic commitments of the Jewish people. Fueled by this vision for a new kind of Jewish community and a belief in the power of the pulpit, Rabbi Zeldin, shy to generations of temple members and dad to me and my brother Joel, created Stephen Wise Temple along with his wife, my mother Florence, by his side every step of the way.
Shared dreams create lasting partners. When my grandfather Shai called, people answered. A compelling dream and true charisma invited many to share in the realization of a temple high in the mountains of Los Angeles. By 1968, after 4 years of nomadic life, a group of strong, generous, and committed lay partners stood together with their leader to provide the resources and set the foundations for what became this magnificent synagogue.
Decades of generosity created a vibrant community. As surely as the concrete was poured to secure the foundations of the first buildings, where Katz Pavilion now stands, people were drawn to the compelling image of this mountaintop, a shul with a pool between the growing valley and the established city, a synagogue serving diverse interests in the center of Jewish life in a growing city.
Shemot, Exodus, the path to the promised land. The path to the promised land takes ingenuity and fortitude. It is long and winding. There are setbacks and there are victories. It is as much a story of encounters with the unexpected as it is about the resourcefulness of the people to overcome any obstacles.
Without a building, the early Wise community gathered in the sanctuary of St. Albans in Westwood, an act of ecumenical grace that secured the Jewish future in Los Angeles. An upstart community first shunned by the Reform movement was embraced and became one of its pillars. The land was leveled, the plans were drawn up, roots were established, the synagogue on the mountaintop was secure.
In the Torah, the Jewish people travel from the mountaintop to the Promised Land, setting out on their own journey. The fledgling Wise community walked from Westwood to the top of the mountain, literally and figuratively, carrying the Torah to this wonderful place.
Reflective of these enduring commitment to our community, many of those marchers remain members of the community even today, and Torah continues to be carried forth from the mountain.
I will bring them to my sacred mount, and I let them rejoice in my house of prayer. For my house shall be called a house of prayer for all people. The book of Leviticus is a book of borders and boundaries, drawing distinct lines between permitted and forbidden. Rabbi Zeldin's rabbinate was one of the crossing borders and erasing boundaries, opening the walls of the synagogue and the pages of Torah for everyone who wanted to learn. Though his roots were Orthodox, Shai saw the future in reform, as a movement and as a verb. Rabbi Zeldin believed in women's leadership on the bima and in the boardroom. Wise opened doors for gay marriages, welcoming those in interfaith unions and asserting a commitment to be a synagogue for the widest diversity of those drawn to Jewish life.
Just as traditional Jewish learning begins with the book of Leviticus, Rabbi Zeldin and his educational partner Matuka Benjamin saw education as the central pillar of Jewish life and community. Before the sanctuary, he taught, build a school, and build they did. Leadership at WISE led the way by establishing one of the nation's first Reform Jewish day schools, an early childhood and parenting center, a strong religious school, and summer day camps.
As each cap on membership fell, it was clear by the ever-growing numbers that the formula of strong Jewish identity and a rich diversity of choices and opportunities met the needs of LA's Jews.
WISE provided that a synagogue could be many things for many people.
Bamidbar numbers building community. The baton of leadership was passed from Rabbi Zeldin to Hersher to Zweiback. In this way, each generation would have the leadership that could guide the synagogue to realize its potential.
Throughout our 60 years, WISE has attracted and engaged talented clergy, school administrators, dedicated teachers, and committed staff. Driven by the mission of serving the Jewish people, all those employed at WISE, from the clergy to the custodians, have given their all with dedication and love.
The psalmist said, "My lips shall be jubilant as I sing a hymn to you, my whole being, which you have redeemed." Music has been the center of worship. Songs old and new fill the sanctuary and lift our spirits. The spirit of voices are cantors, notably Richard Silverman, Nate Lamb, and Emma Lutz, combined with a deep appreciation for all the forms of Jewish musical expression, have inspired and engaged throngs of worshipers.
In pursuit of knowledge, WISE has welcomed presidents, prime ministers, pastors, and poets, pundits, and prophets to our Bema. We have learned with our clergy and educators. We have studied with great thinkers and scholars of the Jewish world and beyond in our adult learning programs. 6 decades dedicated to open ideas that have inspired our community to think deeply about the circumstances of our days. We've always opened our tent to those who seek and welcome a robust exchange of ideas.
Devarim, Deuteronomy. From the founding generation in 1964 to the present, each decade and each generation have shaped the community we've become. L'dor vador nagid gadlecha. From one generation to the next, we will tell our story.
Rav Itzchak Kook wrote, "The old will be made new, the new made holy. With one eye to the past and another to the future, we integrate modernity and tradition. From Torah study to tefillin, from Musar to music, the old and the new find a place of meaning at WISE. In a world so quickly changing, meeting demands that are ever evolving, it is clear that the synagogue of yesterday will not be the community of tomorrow. The only constant is change."
From changing demographics to evolving needs, WISE sought to meet each challenge. When Los Angeles was enriched by an influx of Persian Jews following the 1979 revolution, that community with ancient roots has come to call WISE home, and the blending of Ashkenazi and Persian cultures has created a beautiful Jewish mosaic within our sacred walls.
The pandemic reshaped the world, and WISE adapted once again. As we sheltered in our homes, the WISE community discovered that we could experience our Judaism at a distance. We studied and prayed and retained the communal ties that strengthen our commitment to one another.
With an eye to the past and a willingness to embrace the opportunities presented by the present, WISE is truly a synagogue for the 21st century.